All right, so I'm gonna say my line and then I'm gonna turn around and then you start recording. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Robuilt. I'm your host, Rob, and today we're taking the final tour of my $275,000 small home in Joshua Tree, California, now listed on the MLS for $650,000. Let's go. Actually, I'm gonna start on top of this Dwayne Johnson, so. All right, here we are. Guys, I cannot believe we have arrived to this moment where we're doing the final tour of my small home, and it's a little bit of a bittersweet moment for me because initially whenever I kind of did the first couple of tours on this house, you know, I kind of landed on not selling it because I thought it was gonna be so profitable on Airbnb. Last month, in the month of December, this 880 square foot small home produced over $9,000 in gross revenue. This month, our gross revenue is gonna be anywhere from $11,000 to $12,000, and next month, it's gonna also be $11,000 to $12,000. So as you can see, it's a little tough for me to let this go, but ultimately we decided to list it on the MLS because with the profit that we'll make on this house, it'll allow us to build more small homes, tiny homes, weird homes, and everything in between for the Robuilt channel. So stay tuned for those projects. So because we're selling this thing, go back. Don't wait, just wait. But today we're gonna do the final, okay, now you can come. Today we're gonna do the final. So really quick, before we do a final tour of Casa Mariposa, since we are selling it, we won't have access anymore. This is my last opportunity to shoot this before I move to Tennessee forever. Let's go inside. Sorry, these take a while. Whew, all right, sorry, those take a while sometimes. It's a very long code. I'm super excited to show you the final product of Casa Mariposa. I feel like every single time I've ever done a tour of this place, it's been under heavy construction, sawdust everywhere, tools, boxes, but this is the final product of our living room. And as you can see, we've got this big, majestic bookshelf here that was absolutely crushed by my partner. He built this. We got a quote from our contractor that it was gonna be $3,000, and my partner was like, I'm gonna build it myself. And I was a little skeptical at first, but man, he proved me wrong. Look how awesome this bookshelf is. I mean, this is a focal point in the entire Airbnb. You walk through that door and this is one of the first things you see. And so again, you know I'm all about color palettes in my Airbnbs. So for me, I wanted to focus on a lot of neutral colors for the books themselves, but also bring in the pinks and the greens that you're gonna see all throughout the house here. For me, one of the most important investments that you can make in an Airbnb is a couch. And not just any couch, but like a couch that people actually love sitting in, especially if it's gonna be a sleeper sofa couch. Now you can find a lot of cheap sleeper sofas at places like IKEA and spend like $600 or $700, but for us, we really went all out with this. We got an article couch, it was about $1,400, but it really doesn't feel like a sleeper sofa at all. They typically hurt your back. This has a memory foam mattress in it and it feels just like a regular bed when you're sleeping in it. I'm actually super impressed with the quality of this. As we kind of walk through here, it's a very open concept. You'll see we have our little dining nook right here. 2 people can sit here because this Airbnb accommodates 6 people, right? So we've got 4 different bar stools right here, and then the final 2 people can sit over here. Look at this incredible painting. This is a painting that was provided by Angelique Basia. She's an amazing artist. I'll leave her info right here. Follow her on Instagram for more of her amazing artwork. She actually provided about 5 or 6 different paintings to kind of make our house somewhat of an art gallery for her work. And if the guests really like the paintings, they can purchase them and take them home with them. And this is our way of kind of supporting the local art community out here in Joshua Tree. Before we walk into my dream kitchen, let's just take a quick note of the actual floors. The floors themselves are a chevron wood look tile. It's a porcelain. It's a very high quality porcelain. It has always been quite literally my dream to have chevron floors because I think that they add such a nice touch to the overall look. And this is really where I feel you get that premium look inside the house itself. Now, because we had a lot of beiges and tans in this house, I wanted to bring that element up a little bit higher. So we got a Calcutta style waterfall island here that spans about 10 feet. Typically the veins that you see in a Calcutta are a gray, but I was specifically specifically looking for slabs that had a little bit more of those beige tones in them. So I really think that we found the perfect slabs for this kitchen. One of the biggest issues that I face as a designer whenever I'm designing a kitchen is mixing and matching metals. And that's something that I've had to overcome and just get over the fact that I'm never gonna have matching metals in my kitchen. So I decided to embrace that. We've got this awesome gold chandelier up here with the black accents. We've got a black faucet, but then obviously we hit our stainless steel here, but we bring our blacks in through the actual oven itself, through the wallpapers, through the Schluter rods that we chose for the tile. And finally, the way that I wanted to marry everything together and ground everything was through the neutral tones of our cabinets and our beiges here, right? So we have this Smeg style fridge, and then we've got these Voxtorp IKEA cabinets that really bring a modern edge to this kitchen. And the final thread that you're gonna see in this house is the use of wallpapers that I use to bring all the pinks in this home together. There are a lot of pinks from all the different tiles and wallpapers. Because I was going for vintage California, mid-century modern, and kind of those desert tones, I even chose to bring the pinks into the island itself. So you'll see that in the actual wall of the island, typically this would be a drywall, but I elected to go with designer tile here as the backsplash of my island. And one of the things that you're also gonna note, because I chose to embrace the pink so much, I really wanted to break it up with kind of an unexpected color. So notice that we have green bar stools here, but I spent so long looking for these bar stools specifically because they had gold legs, and this is exactly how we tied in the actual chandelier of the space itself. And because I wanted that green to be such a surprising element in this heavily pink kitchen, I spent way too much money on this tea kettle right here to really anchor that green accent, right? That really pulls the green from the bar stools to the wall itself. So as you start to walk the house, you really start to see how we connected the colors in this house, from the doors to the dining room chairs, to the throw pillows on the couches, all the way to the rubber tree plant that I specifically bought because it had pink and green in it. As you can see, color balance and juxtaposition is something that I spent a lot of time putting thought into in this house. And again, as we walk into the hallway here, you'll see that we have another awesome piece by Angelique Basia. I honestly cannot stress how incredible of an artist she is and how easy it was to work with her to get the gallery set up in Casa Mariposa. This is our guest bedroom in our 2-2 here at Casa Mariposa. It's a little bit smaller than the master bedroom next door, but it's still totally spacious and airy in here. Enough room for a queen size bed. We've got a small little rack here for clothes and everything like that. A little plant here because I do like to add as much greenery as I can. Again, more custom artwork by Angelique. The last thing I want to call out is my favorite thing about these rooms, and it's the custom mural that we had painted for each room. So for the design palette of this house, I was really trying to go for mid-century modern meets desert premium, tans, beiges, pinks, and greens in this house. And that's a recurring element that you see all the way from the throw pillows to the murals to the plants, all the way to the door colors here. Now this paint color was a little bit bold at the time, and actually this was the very first thing that we painted in the house, and I was like, man, am I making a bad call here? But as we started to integrate this into the overall kind of color scheme of the house, that's when I saw this coming together. So let's head into the bathroom. This is one of my favorite elements of the entire house, mostly because this is where I had a lot of fun juxtaposing cool, quirky wallpapers to the actual tile itself. Now, this tile is Clee tile or clay tile. I don't actually know the name of it. Please sponsor me, Clee tile. It's about $15 a square foot, so it is very expensive. And when I was budgeting for this house, the one thing that I didn't want to skimp on was tile. I think tile is kind of the make it or break it for a premium design to just a really good design. So for us, the shower and the bath tile for each bathroom cost about $1,500 to $2,000 alone, and that's not even including the actual labor itself. But as you can see, this is where I was really kind of embracing our pinks here, and then even our greens here down on the ground. So as you can see, we've got two different greens here. They're not exactly the same, but they are within that same family, right? And so whenever you start kind of mixing all the greens through all the elements of the house, that's when you really start having that cohesive vibe that really sets you apart from everyone else on Airbnb. So now we're gonna head into the master bedroom, and immediately upon walking inside, you can feel how much more spacious the room is in here. For example, we decided to go with a king bed inside of here versus a queen bed, just because I actually used to put full beds in my Airbnbs, and now moving forward, I will always put at least a queen or a king in them. Honestly, based on the YouTube comments and everyone who said they would never stay in my Airbnbs because I had a full-size bed in it. So I heard you, and because of that, we have bigger beds in Casa Mariposa. Same thing here about the mural, but I did want to point out that it's a little bit different. Both murals are not identical. We wanted to keep them kind of related to each other, sisters if you will, but still so similar that it feels all cohesive in here. And then my favorite part about this room, which I'm not really sure you're gonna see on camera, is that when you look outside of this window right here, you have a view of Coyote Hole in here, which you really can't beat in the morning when you're drinking your coffee, looking at a giant pile of rocks. It really is beautiful. One other little detail in here is that we added a closet after the fact because I wanted an owner's closet so that our maids and our cleaning staff had access to cleaning supplies, extra paper towels, toilet paper, and everything like that. But because this remains locked Well, it's supposed to. Ah, there it is. Because it remains locked most of the time. So we put this little closet rack here so that we could really target the Joshua Tree hipster so that they could hang their flowy dresses, their grandma sweaters, infinity scarves, their wide brim hats, all right here. All right, let's go into the bathroom. So one thing to note about this ensuite is that we don't actually have a door here. That was part of the design. Apparently that is actually pretty common out here in the desert. We have our washer and dryer right here. Let me just hide this. It's a little smaller than your typical washer and dryer, but it's a small home, so you gotta make sacrifices every so often. And as we get in here, you see that, again, I continue to have a little bit of fun with the wallpapers and the color. So this wallpaper is different than the other bathroom, but it's still a really cool, funky, mid-century modern design, which I really like. But I think it really pairs well with the tile in here. Now, if you remember my original video on Casa Mariposa, we were having a little bit of issue fitting a sink in here. But one thing we figured out really quickly is it actually didn't end up being that big of a deal. This sink is a little bit smaller and it totally fits in here. We actually could have gone probably a decent size bigger than this and had a bigger sink. I was really stressing on the sink, but overall, I'm really happy with how this bathroom turned out. And that's the tour of the inside. I had so much fun designing this place. Tell me what you thought in the comments down below. Did you like the wallpapers, the color choices? Really interested to hear what you think about this place. But with that, I want to take you to the final piece of this tour, which is perhaps my favorite of this entire experience. So let's go check out the patio. In Joshua Tree, outdoor space is super, super important just because when it is a small home or a tiny home, people don't want to be cooped up inside all day. I really kind of went over budget on the patio side of things because I knew how many people would love to sit out here and look at this awesome view of Coyote Hole. On those warm desert afternoons, I knew that people were going to want to come out and hang under this awesome black pergola. We had it painted black specifically because I knew that it was gonna pop right against the black windows, the black doors of the home. The last little splurge that I did on the patio, kind of a last minute add, was I added these hanging chairs here so that you could sit here with your significant other, swing a little bit, have a beer, and look out to this epic view of Coyote Hole. We are in the heart of Joshua Tree, California, only 7 minutes away from the national park. You really can't beat the location or the vibes of this place, and I'm really proud of what I built here. I'm really sad to let it go. We have a couple of offers on it. This is really where I felt like I found myself as a designer, but this is just the second house in the Robuilt Joshua Tree catalog. I know that I have 100 more to go. I just wanted to thank you for your support and following me on this journey. Building this house has been such a dream come true because this is the first time that I ever felt like I had the budget to do whatever I wanted. And it was only $275,000. But really what I think I'm looking forward to is the day that I can build a $500,000 house and really show you what I can do from a creative standpoint. So thanks for coming along on the final tour of Casa Mariposa. It has been a pleasure. Don't forget to like and subscribe, but for now, I'm gonna go enjoy the view. We'll catch you on the next episode of Robuilt.